Hello, class. My name is Ingrid Thomas. I go by the name of Misty. I hope that you guys can hear me today. Had a dentist appointment and voice sounds a little different. But to introduce myself, my name is Ingrid Thomas once again. I go by Misty. I live here in Brunswick, Georgia. It's off the coast of small town off the coast of southeast Georgia. You may be more familiar with St. Simon's Island or Sea Island. We're about an hour away from Jacksonville and an hour away from Savannah. I'm originally from Miami, Florida, but moved here some odd years ago. So Georgia's my home. Um, I'm currently employed at Coastal Pre-K in Brunswick, Georgia, as a lead pre-K teacher. I'm trying to get my master's in education so that I can further my education and learn more skills to help me better do my job. I do plan on going back to the school system, the local school system here, which is where I originally started. So I just recently passed the GACE, which is the Georgia Assessment of Educators. So I'm looking forward to actually going to work at an elementary school here next year. I'm a mother of three. My oldest daughter will be 23. Um, my middle daughter is 21. And my daughter that lives at home with me just turned 16. So I have three girls. And with my three girls, I have three grands. No, I'm sorry, four grands. They're gonna kill me if they see this video. I have four grands. The one that will be 23. She has a set of twin boys. And she just recently had a baby 4 months ago, and they're my life. And my 21-year-old. She has a 3-year-old girl. So the oldest one has the three boys, and the middle one has my girl. I love them all the same though. When I buy for one, I always buy for all. A little bit about myself. In my spare time, I like to read. My friends laugh because my favorite hobby is still sleeping. I would rather come home and take a quick power nap before I do anything. So yeah, that's still my hobby. Um, but I like to read good books. Romance novels. I read both fictional and nonfiction. But it has to be a good book that really gets me going. Um, let's see. Like I said, I currently work at Head Start, so I've been there for 3 years. I love it, but before I went to Head Start, I worked for Glenn County Schools as a parapro. I originally went to school with the intention on being a psychologist, but at the time I was working as a para, so it made more sense to me to switch my major. Um, I started out at Troy University, which is a campus located in Alabama, but they have a small school site here in Brunswick, Georgia. I got my associates and my bachelor's in psychology from Troy University. I started Ashford last year. I After this class, I have one more class. Um, and then I'll have my master's in education. I do plan on going back to school. I'm trying to decide if I just want to extend my education now and get a concentration in special education, which was my first love. I worked with older middle school kids in special education when I was a parapro, or I'm trying to see if I'm going to go back and get a double, another master's in that separately. Um, the question says, share an experience in the field regarding collaborating between home and school. I think as educators, we collaborate between home and school on a daily basis. I know one of the ways that I do it, my students have an agenda, and every day in the agenda, I only write positive things in the agenda. Every day in the agenda, I would tell them what domain we worked on, whether it's physical, cognitive, um, cognitive and general knowledge, whether it's language and literacy, um, approaches to learning and things like that. So those are the domains that we concentrate on at our Head Start. I would do an activity that's centered around that. And I would always make it personal by putting the kid's name and letting the parent know what the kid does. Um, I do have what I call as a mass text or a text where I do have extra phone where my parents are allowed to text me and send information. Um, excuse me. I let them know what's going on in school. Excuse me. We usually do like a monthly newsletter, but outside of the monthly newsletter, I try to let the kids know what we're doing in class, so that the parents are able to volunteer. Excuse me. So that the parents are able to volunteer and that they're able to come to class and visit or share their personal experience on whatever I'm teaching that whatever particular theme I'm teaching or that we're working on. Um, Another thing I do to communicate with the parents, I do give my kids weekly homework assignments. On the homework assignments, I ask parents questions, or I ask the parents, are there any questions that they need of me? It might be something specifically that they want me to work with their child. And if I have time, I try to do to the best of my ability to help that child. I also communicate with the parents when they come in the morning. I usually let them know, hey, we're doing this and this. We're working on sea animals. If you know anything about sea animals that might be useful, maybe you know something I don't know, you can share it with me. You can come in and talk to the class. And I love collaborating with my parents because the parents, I believe, is the backbone and helps the year run smoother when you're able to talk and communicate with your parents. I love it when parents are interested in what their kids are doing. I know we will get some parents that are reluctant, but communication is key. Communication is key. I try to always make my parents feel welcome when they come into school, welcome when they come in my classroom. I tell them I have an open door policy. We can talk about anything that we need to talk about if they just let me know. I actually do two conferences a year and two home visits. In the fall and the winter, I do the home visits, and I'm able to go to the house. We discuss assessment scores, assessment skills, what areas of improvement, strategies for success for the kids, and I try to make sure that the parents are actively involved in what's going on with their kids. As an educator, and working with kids and families, I think that it is very important to work with your families. Where I work, the families are a lot of diverse, and I've tried my best. I've even taken up some classes to learn how to speak Spanish so that I can have basic communication with them. And me and my students actually do Spanish activities. So I treat all my parents the same, and I try to get to know them and know a little bit about them. So I have what is called Get to Know Your Family Day, where I invite a family member at least once a week to the classroom, a different family member, almost like a show and tell, and they tell us a little bit about them and their culture, because I believe kids do better when they know that their family is involved, and when you have families that want to be involved, it's awesome. For our kids that maybe don't have family that's involved, I try to do little things, or maybe invite another friend or another family member or something to help out so that they don't feel left out. Um, with pre-K, as with any other grades, with pre-K, I feel like we are the foundation of education. You're trying to build a solid foundation between families and educators, and it starts there. It starts there because parents can give you insight to things that you don't know. They are good helpers. They can help you with maybe a situation you didn't know. So I think it is essential as educators to work with families and to do activities that involve your families. But you must first learn to communicate. I think communication is the first step, and making them feel welcome so that they will communicate with you. I'm so sorry to ramble on. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I look forward to working with you. Some of you I've probably met in other classes, but once again, I look forward to working with you. Bye-bye.